You know, most of us have heard the story of Joseph, right? It's usually framed as this incredible tale of famine and survival. But what if I told you it's so much more than that? What if it's actually the blueprint for one of the most radical economic and political overhauls in all of history? All of it orchestrated by one guy, staring down a total societal collapse. So let's dig into the hidden strategy behind this incredible story.
Okay, so to really get what Joseph does, you first have to get your head around the sheer scale of this crisis. I mean, this was not just a bad harvest. Not even close. The text says there was no bread in all the world. Think about that. We're talking about an apocalyptic event, a catastrophe that literally brought the world's superpower, Egypt, and all its neighbors completely to their knees. The stage is absolutely set for desperation.
And this famine, it didn't just empty out the fields, it totally emptied the treasuries. The text uses this word. It says both Egypt and Canaan languished. Basically, they were wasting away. This was a complete and total economic meltdown. I mean, think about it. When food is the only thing that has any value, what happens to money? It becomes totally worthless.
And right at this moment of total chaos, this is where Joseph steps in. He's the vizier of Egypt, second in command. And remember, he has spent the last 7 good years building up these massive grain reserves. Now, he puts his plan into motion. And honestly, it's simple, it's direct, and it is absolutely audacious. His goal? Use the government's total control over food to buy up, well, everything. Every single private asset in the entire kingdom, all for Pharaoh.
But what's so fascinating here is how he does it. This wasn't just some chaotic grab for power. No, Joseph had a clear, step-by-step strategy. And each phase of his plan was perfectly timed to match how desperate the people were getting. So let's break this down. Let's see how an entire nation sold itself off, piece by piece, just to stay alive. So phase 1, money. Joseph collects all of it. Every last piece of silver in Egypt and Canaan goes straight into Pharaoh's treasury. Okay, now the money's gone. What's next? Phase 2, livestock. The people bring their horses, their sheep, their cattle, their donkeys, everything. And you got to realize this isn't just their wealth, this is their livelihood. It's how they work the land, how they make a living. And once all the animals are gone, well, they're left with only 2 things: the very ground beneath their feet and themselves.
And this is the exact moment, the cry from the people that signals the end of that first phase. It's the moment the entire economic system just fails, completely. You can almost hear the panic in those words, can't you? All of a sudden, money, this thing we build our entire lives around, is meaningless. The only thing that matters now is bread.
So this brings everyone to this incredible turning point. They have absolutely nothing left to trade. And they come to Joseph, but not with anger, not with riots. They come with one final desperate plea. This right here, this is the climax of the whole plan. It's the moment that everything is about to change forever. And this is such a critical point. Listen to this. Joseph doesn't seize their land. He doesn't have to. The people themselves come and offer it. They're literally begging him, take us in our land, just give us bread so we don't die right in front of you. They are actively, willingly trading their freedom and their property for one simple thing, a guarantee that they'll survive. They are asking to become serfs. So what does that even mean, to be a serf? Well, it meant you weren't an independent farmer anymore. You didn't own your land. From now on, you worked the land for Pharaoh. But in exchange for all your labor, the government gave you seed to plant and food to eat. It was a guarantee that you and your kids wouldn't starve. At its core, it was a simple trade, autonomy for security. Okay, so the crisis is over, the people are fed. All the land now belongs to Pharaoh. You'd think Joseph's work is done, right? Nope. Not even close. Now he puts the permanent system in place. He creates a brand new law that's going to forge a whole new economic reality for Egypt for generations.
And the whole new system? It all boils down to one single number, 20%. That's it. Joseph makes this the law of the land. It becomes the fundamental rule that defines the relationship between the people and the government from that day on.
So here's the deal he lays out. It's pretty straightforward. From now on, every time you harvest your crops, 1/5 of it, that's 20%, goes to Pharaoh. The rest, the other 4/5, a full 80%, is all yours. You use that for seed for the next year and for food for you, your family, your kids. It's basically a simple, flat tax you pay for using Pharaoh's land.
So what's the reaction to this? I mean, this is a massive nationalization of everything. You'd think there'd be riots, right? Rebellion? Nope. Relief.
pure relief. The people actually say, "You have saved our lives." To them, Joseph wasn't some tyrant who took everything they owned. He was a hero. He was the guy who figured out how they could survive. And they willingly, even gratefully, accepted their new lives as serfs.
But was saving lives the only thing going on here? The famous medieval commentator Rashi, he suggests there was another layer to this, a much more subtle political game being played. See, according to him, this wasn't just about economics. It was about making sure his own family had a future in Egypt.
You have to remember, Joseph's family, the Israelites, they were immigrants, they were outsiders, and they were settled in Goshen, which was the best, most fertile part of the land, and they were getting their food directly from the government. Now imagine you're a starving Egyptian and you see this group of foreigners getting special treatment. That could create some serious resentment, even danger. So Joseph has a problem. How does he protect his family from being seen as these privileged strangers?
And this is where Rashi points out something that seems kind of random at first. The text says Joseph relocated the entire Egyptian population. He moved people from one end of the country to the other. Why on earth would he do that? Well, here's the genius of it. He did it to make everyone an outsider. By moving everyone around, he made them all strangers in their new homes. And just like that, he completely erased the distinction. I mean, if everybody's an immigrant, then nobody is, right? The insult outsider just lost all of its sting.
So in this brand new Egypt, almost everybody became a serf, working the land for Pharaoh. But, and this is a big but, there were two key exceptions. First, the Egyptian priests. They had their own deal with the state, a special allotment, so they never had to sell their land. And second, Joseph's family. They were taken care of by Pharaoh from day one. So these two groups, the priests and the Israelites, they're the only ones left who still own land. They basically become the new privileged class in this totally restructured society.
So at the end of the day, we're left with this huge question, aren't we? I mean, Joseph's plan, it worked. It was undeniably effective. He saved millions of people from starving to death, and he built a stable, powerful, centralized state. But to do it, he nationalized an entire country, wiped out private property, and turned a nation of free people into serfs. So which was it? Was this the ultimate act of responsible leadership in a crisis, or was it the most brilliant and maybe ruthless consolidation of power in history? That's the real question at the heart of Joseph's gamble.